me a couple of cues on the seconds, all right?
Okay. That's when it goes to when it goes to you guys and when it comes out.
Right.
Okay.
You like the mushroom?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was weak as hell. We're going to try that one more time, y'all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We'd like to welcome you here to the Dirty Dog Jazz Cafe. We have a few birthday acknowledgments we'd like to give out. And the first one is going out to Brenda. Where you at, Brenda? There she is. Everybody say happy birthday to Brenda. Yeah. They didn't forget about you, Robert. Where you at? Robert! Everybody say happy birthday to Robert. Any more birthdays in the house tonight? We also have a special 17 years, you said? 26 years. What was the name? It was Latoya and Tyrone here at the bar, y'all. 26 years. That's what's up. That's what's up. Any more anniversaries in the house? Well, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to why you're here. If you'll all be so kind is to give it up for the gentleman tickling those ivories tonight. Put your hands together for Mr. Lorenzo Rhodes, y'all. Don't y'all make me act out up in here. I said Lorenzo Rhodes up in here, y'all. Jesus. Oh my God. And on guitar tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, put your hands together for Mr. Ray Urena, y'all. And supplying the heartbeat on bass. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. David Yarborough, y'all. And on percussions, I said on percussions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, put your hands together for Miss Trinita Womack. And up front, on saxophone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, put your hands together for Mr. Nick Stone, y'all. And heading up the band tonight, slapping them skins. My brother from another mother. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, put your hands together for Detroit's own Mr. Gene Dunlap. Folks, we here at the Dirty Dog Jazz Cafe. We've been celebrating jazz here for 17 years. We ask just out of respect for the guests that are here to hear the music, if you just keep your conversations just down to a minute while the band is playing. They're going to give you one solid hour of music, maybe a little longer. You guys can help us shut it down at the end of the night. Is it okay to everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put your hands together with Mr. Gene Dunlap.
Gray on guitar, y'all. Nick Stone on the saxophone.
Thank you very much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy that? Folks, we here at the Dirty Dog Jazz Cafe, we've been celebrating jazz here for the last 17 years. We ask just out of respect for the guests that are here to hear the music, your conversation is just down to a minimum while the band is playing. Thank you.
Thank you. I couldn't hear myself. Uh-oh. I want to take a minute to reintroduce these guys to you. Where I'm going to start? Okay, let's see. Guitar. This is his first gig with us. I met him about 2 weeks ago for the first time, and we had a couple of rehearsals. He's doing a great job. I think we might keep him around for a while. You know, yeah, let him hang out with me. Yeah. He's old enough to hang out with me. You know, he's all right. We won't get in no trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ray Urena on guitar. On bass, this young man, he's another new character to the organization. Bass player, great guy, man. You know, I've been riding with him to the gig. You know, bass players and drummers got to, you know, we locked the thing down. So we hanging out and telling stories and back and forth, you know. Riding big time. I don't want to talk about it. Got that, what they call him, a Beamer? Is that what, that Beamer, man? He got that new Beamer out there, man. We would just be cruising down the thing, you know what I'm saying? I get me a little nap on the way. Anyway, beautiful guy, man. I love him. Mr. David Yarborough on bass. On percussion, my sister. She's 1 year younger than I am. And so funny. We would, what's that stuff, salon pies? We were trading salon pie stories, you know. Anyway. But anyway, I love this lady, I'm telling y'all, and I keep telling her if she ever decides to put them congas up in that percussion, I want to manage her as a stand-up comedian. She is so funny backstage when we're talking, man. I tell you, she got a way to tell a story that just cracks you. And she's straight up. She's straight, no chaser. She ain't no joke. She tell you how she feel. Miss Trinita Womack on percussion, y'all. Play with some of everybody on the planet. Now, this next young man, so you got to have some youth in the group. You know, we are like the experienced musicians back here. The youth is further up front. You know what? Yeah, it is. Because they talk about the same aches and pains I do. On saxophone, and as I said last night and tonight, I say it again, it's hard to get this young man. He is also employed by a young man by the name of Charlie Wilson. Y'all know who that is? Okay. And if you look the Tiny Desk concert with Charlie Wilson, if you look at it again, you'll see this gentleman right here. He didn't have enough room to, we call them swivel hips, to dance like he normally do. But he did his thing. Mr. Nick Stone on saxophone. On keyboards, I've known this gentleman for a long time, maybe about 50 years or so. And I'm telling you, man, he's like one of my favorite keyboard players. He comes up with great ideas, and he writes some great songs, you know. And we're getting ready to do one of his selections, and I asked him, I said, well, when you recorded this thing, it's like, is it 6 minutes or something? That was back in the day, you know, but it's got a lot going on, and it's called Footprints in the Sand. But there's a couple of sections where I'm saying, well, did they start running in the sand? Because this thing, it gets on fire, you know. But he explained it to me. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lorenzo Rhodes on piano and keyboard. I'm done.
And our fearless leader who keeps us all together.
Yes, sir.
Won't you give a warm round of applause? Gene has played with everybody. Earl Clue, and I can't even remember everybody he didn't play with. Roy Ayers,
Ronnie Law,
Ronnie Laws, Hubert Laws, just about anybody.
Mickey Howard.
George Benson. Anyway, he's the shit. My brother, my friend, and the leader of our organization, Mr. Gene Dunlap.
So right now we're going to do a selection written by that young man on the piano. It's entitled "Footprints in the Sand." Go ahead.
Footprints in the sand. I'm sure you'll recognize this song. Little Hall and Oates.
Right now, we're going to do a thing that Renzo, he said, man, check this song out. Little thing by Bonnie Raitt. And it's called Nick of Time. Here we go. Lorenzo Rose on keyboards, y'all. Come on, man. Play a little bit more, Lorenzo. Stay there.
Lorenzo Rose on keyboards.
Ray Ureta on guitar, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Stone on saxophone. Hey, Treaty Womack, y'all. my bedtime now. I was tired. Ooh, Lord, y'all don't know. You know, at 60, this wasn't too bad. But at 70, I gotta go home. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Lorenzo Rhodes on keyboard, y'all. Ray Urena on guitar. Dave Yarbrough on bass. Nick Swivel Hip Stone on saxophone. Trinita Womack on percussion, y'all. And the old man back here on drums, Gene Dunlap. Look here, y'all be safe, please. God bless you and keep you, as only He can. Good night, y'all. When we hit, it's like the spirit. I'm in the spirit, man.